Witchy morning to you all, and welcome to another general reading. So, I've been trying and for a few minutes now to figure out a witchy salute. So, witchy morning is the best I got so far. We're doing another general one, and I'm gonna start with the zodiac signs after this one, I think, depending on how long this reading will take and what energies are implied for this one. Uh, let's see. I pre-shuffled the deck. I want to mention this. And before pre-shuffling, the moon card was at the base of the deck. After I shuffled the deck, the moon was there again, but not only that it was there, but it like jumped. And we got the Nine of Swords then. So the moon, we have the new moon in Cancer, 24th and 25th of June, depending on your position on the astrocartography map on the globe, and the Nine of Swords. So you may be experiencing some turmoil, some sleepless nights, some maybe. I've seen a movie last night, and they were talking about chronic insomnia. So maybe something with chronic insomnia. Okay, let's have another shuffle because I definitely want to shuffle those energies away and see what the cards have to say for this moment in time and space. Let's have another shuffle. And another one. And then I think we're ready to go. I wanted to do the zodiac signs, but I felt like being so long ever since I did the last reading, there are a lot of things there lingering in the general atmosphere that need to be addressed. So let's see. Very old school today, okay? And we have one card on the table. Let's see what card. So now we have the Magician, much better energy, and the Four of Swords. So this position of resting and healing that was brought maybe even before, like 3 nights before the new moon. So 24, starting, let's say, the 21st. And we had like um, the summer, what is it? The summer solstice. Maybe all this changes brought some exhaustion to the general feeling of everyone. The Four of Swords. So from this resting position, we're going to the Magician. So from this resting position, now the Magician guides the energy of the deck and of the reading. Let's see. Let's see a few cards. Okay, I want to see this one. The Well. So it didn't jump, card number 22. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to just put it back. If it wants to come, it will come. But this card is just belongs just to this deck. So we have 21 major arcana, 22 only if you count the Fool, because like right, the Fool can um, belongs everywhere. He can just play and be wherever he wants. So he can be after the World card, and then he can have like the number 22. But in this deck, he would have like number 23 because the Well is number 22, and I always go to the well of the fountain of life. I'm looking at her pendant talisman, but I think this is like some. I feel I'm going to that time turner in Harry Potter books. I always talk about Harry Potter, the time turner. and Professor Dumbledore says, like, give it exactly, I don't know how many twists. Okay, let's see. Maybe let's just put this card back too. Okay, the Four of Pentacles. So we put back in the deck the Four of Swords, the resting, and number 4. This number 4. When I did the 4th shuffle, I was drawn to the energy of number 4. Maybe number 4 is important for someone out there right now. But now from the Four of Swords, resting and healing and retreating into sanctuary and putting your swords down for a while, you go to the Four of Pentacles. So maybe you're holding too much to this Four of Swords. So maybe it's, with the Magician there, maybe now it's time to go back into the world, but you're still holding to this. I'm going now to procrastination. There's this YouTube song, like, procrastination is not your fault. It's they're I think it's like some psychology channel or something, but they are hinting to the fact that procrastination is an effect of trauma. And maybe in this case, you holding with the Four of Pentacles to the Four of Swords, to that resting, healing. Maybe you are already healed and rested and ready to work your magic. And maybe not only procrastination, but also fear. I get fear. The Hanged Man. You need a new perspective upon the whole situation. And the Hanged Man came with fear. So the opposite of fear, we are tempted to say it's courage, right? But I feel like in this particular situation, it's not. It's like fear and healing. Oh, damn healing. So, like, so much trauma these days, so much healing to do. Like, everyone's working and self-improving and self-developing, and I feel like I need a break from everything. And maybe like that, okay, maybe that's the feel, because it just went. Okay, let's see another card. So with fear, you need the Hanged Man. You need a new perspective. You need like a complete 180 and change the view. To change the perspective, first and foremost, to change the perspective, change the view. Okay. Let's see another card. I'm going back now. So it's procrastination, Two of Swords, and fear. Okay, so these two of Swords. So these two, with one you are fighting, with one you are defending yourself. Let's say you're defending yourself from procrastination, and you're fighting your fears. But the solution in all this is Temperance card. It's moderation. It's the balance of these two swords you're holding and handling. So to change the perspective, change the view. At least, I feel like saying, at least change the holding hand. At least put fear in the opposite hand. And now, like, I feel like a natural question, yeah, but which hand am I holding fear in, and in which hand am I holding my procrastination? Let's say the right hand, because we have the Hanged Man. Like, usually the right is feminine, is this twist. And maybe this change of, maybe your masculine sits on your right and affects your left. And your feminine sits on your left and affects your right. Exactly the opposite. Because feminine naturally sits on the right and affects the left. And the other way around. But nevertheless, I want to have one card there. The solution. So these two major arcanas. So you had Four of Swords, Four of Pentacles, Two of Swords. But the major arcanas, like the major archetypes you can embrace right now, so the 22 major arcanas are like 12 plus 10. The 10 Sephiroths and the 12 paths in the Tree of Life. But we also have like the 12 groups of cranial nerves. I don't know, like why I feel the Queen of Swords. The feminine. The feminine in here. But the feminine on the element of air, which should be here on top. But on top you have the Two of Swords. This indecision, this juggling and between your fears and this state of procrastination, buried down your feminine, the queen archetype of the element of air. And now the two, this, so instead of the two can mean two things. It's either you unite the two aspects and make one again. It's either that you divide furthermore and you get 3, 4, and the other numbers. So one aspect of the two is unity, if you manage to bring together the two opposites, and the other one is duality, which will bring forward even more division. And like, for example, think with the process of fertilization. So you have one egg, big bang, okay, big bang with the sperm, and then the cellular division, the process of cellular division starts, and from one you get two, and from two you get four, and so on. Let's see, so on. This Queen of Swords, this gives me like icy vibes. Something like down there in the middle of the earth. So at the surface of the earth, you would expect in some places, let's say, to have ice. But at the core of the earth, in the middle of the earth, you expect fire, but you have ice. And this icy core is a result or somehow connected with this Two of Swords, with the Nine of Wands. So you got yourself burned, definitely, with the Nine of Wands. But it's the 9, it's not the 10. Burned, but not quite there, not enough. You're the wounded warrior now. Wounded as you are, but you still want to fight. You still haven't reached. Yeah, because like with this indecision, it's maybe fueled by this desire to still fight, to still fight your fears. But you got burned. One battle left, right? One battle left until you manage to reach the 10 of Wands, like to really understand and like for this wisdom to put everything down that you're carrying on your back. But you have the 9 of Wands. Let's focus on the 9 of Wands. So it's new moon in Cancer, and with this 9 of Wands, we have Chiron, the 6 of Wands, victory, and the Ace of Wands. Okay. So ahead of you is it's a new of so okay, the 9 of Wands, there's one wand left to reach the 10 of wands. And you're focusing on this one. This indecision of yours, this two of swords here, keeps focusing you on the wrong one wand. Because you have the ace of wands. This is also one wand. But this is one until the 10. And this is one like absolutely a brand new fire. A new fire to spark you. And this is a victory. This is insured. Something with this icy core in the middle of the earth. But on the feminine, because we've established your feminine sits on the left. And it needs to act now and bring this balance. And this is what you have on this side. But the wound, the trauma, and maybe it's the masculine. It's the paternal complex. It's the relationship with the father and with masculinity in general, whether you are a lady or a gentleman. If you are a lady, of course, this influences also the relationship with you have with all male figures in your life, including partners or associates or something like that. And if you are a male with a paternal complex, well, this is serious business. Because, like, we are naturally programmed. So, father and son, mother and daughter, unconsciously, there will always be this, let's say, fight. But fight is not the best word. This unconscious. So, for example, when the mother sees the daughter, especially in full bloom, she will always reminiscence about her own youth, and this will. But this is not conscious. I can't. Um, um, so just pay attention in here. I can't find the word, the exact word. I can't remember the word. There's a word for this, so I can't like underline. There you go. So I can't underline this enough. This is not conscious. So the mother will have this jealousy and, and the father the same. When the father, like the old man now, sees the young son, there's an envy, there's jealousy, but not necessarily, not to be interpreted on his own son, on like this young man, on what he was once, of what he once was, like the father, and like the son or the daughter for the mother now experiencing it in front of the mother or of the father. I don't know if I made enough justice to what I wanted to express here. But this wound of the wounded warrior, comes from the father, paternal complex in here. So we have a minus in here and we have a plus in here. It's not necessarily a plus because it's an icy core, but this icy core maybe just very well be a result of this imbalance on the masculine aspect of your being. Okay, let's see a few more cards. Okay, I feel like switching tarots. Another deck. Let's use this one. I feel like taking 3 cards from this. And with that, I think we're gonna end the evaluation of the situation and we're gonna go to oracles. see what the oracles offer as a solution. So holding on to that Four of Swords. Four of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles. You may be born on the 4th of April, or like the 22nd of April, 4. Something with 4. What others? 13 also. If you're born on the 13th. We don't have the 13th month officially. Okay, let's see. Let's see 3 cards. And I feel like, I already feel like switching the deck vertically, because this is a daddy business. Okay. I feel like mentioning this. So the words we use, they do have an effect upon our mental state. So using words like daddy or mommy, or like you are the child of your parents or the kids and stuff like that. It is not natural, let's say, for a 30-year-old woman to say that she is the child of her mother. She's the daughter, because she's not a child anymore. She was once a child, and it was correct for that time to say that she was the child of her mother. But when she's like 30 or 40, she's the daughter. And same like the son of the mother or the son of the father. Okay, let's go vertically. Okay, 1 second, please. They fell all the way to the floor. Okay, let's see. We got 2 cards. So we have the Queen of Cups, the mother, and the Queen of Swords. Okay. And this is a very strange depiction of the. Okay, so in this card, the Queen of Swords, like the symbolism, goes to the times I talked about yesterday about matriarchy. So in times of matriarchy, the goddess was supposed to kill the god, the male figure, to ensure the rebirth and the fertility of nature. So we're complaining about how violent and messy these patriarchal times are. But this is just my opinion. This is how I feel it. But this, who raised? I mean, we have to admit that it is the woman that gives birth. So the mother is essential for all children, boys or girls. So the feminine part is essential to the masculine and how the masculine is brought up. And those first times, so the first form of organization was a matriarchy. And in these times, like even like you see this head here. So she killed the king, she killed the god, the male figure. But in this one, so look how different they are. And she holds the sword. And all the depictions, so she has this baby head as her crown, as her, like for her chakras. And in this picture, the Queen of Cups holds this pelican. She's not killing anyone, she's petting the pelican. And she holds this cup. Okay, I cannot figure it out yet if this is a result like this or like this. So this negative paternal complex gave birth to this icy Queen of Swords inner core when it should be water. And you see, this is what I meant. It should be fire in there, but it's ice. Why? Because the fire, the masculine, has left. Okay, I was reading. It was like some sciencey website, but it was astronomy. And they were talking about the sun and the moon. And it was like if the sun has something of too much that the moon is missing. And let's say this icy moon is missing, like the sun in here, the masculine has taken too much, has taken not too much, all of the fire. And now the feminine had to learn, because yin and yang, let's say like in this particular story, the black of the yin, the black, it's represented by ice. So in the middle, there should be that little grain of fire. And fire, let's put it as white, and it has a little bit of icy grain core in the middle. But this masculine has managed somehow. So this is like the deserted moon. So this feminine is like the deserted moon. And now I'm getting like this picture in my head, like deserts on the moon. Like your story starts on the moon. It's something like, so I had a vision of my own at one point when it said, so now you have to go back to the place where it all started. And something like this I'm getting for you. So now you have to go to the place where it all started. And for you, it all started on the moon. And you know how they're saying that the moon is like an artificial body that was built because it's like perfect location to cover the sun for eclipses and all that, perfect diameter and perfect everything about it. It's just like too good to be true. So this feminine in here, and I think it's a result of the masculine. So I think it's like this, the effect, masculine upon feminine. So I think that the masculine switched sides, exactly like in the story with Adam and Lilith. But let's say in here we have the rebellion of Adam, not of Lilith. So it's not Lilith as in the original Hebrew story that leaves the Garden of Eden, but in here it's Adam. But how did Adam find a way in here to escape, let's say, the garden? Because he doesn't know the name of God as Lilith, as the feminine, because only feminine can recognize and use that. How did he? I'm going now, so my vision it's very much focused on the hanged man. This thread he's pulling. He pulled a thread. The consequence was that the feminine, so all fire. But I'm going back again to the story of the. So back in those times, like the feminine did what was natural to do, but it was very cruel. So this masculine, it feels like it couldn't accept. So I'm just saying these are both parts of your being. But these parts of your being cannot find a way to stay together. I want to have another card, one for the masculine. So the feminine had to falsify the type, and it went from, so it was supposed to be water. But for this water to exist, it needed that little grain of fire. But the masculine, as I feel, as a payback for those very cruel matriarchal times and what he had to endure, came back and stole the fire. And it feels like his explanation, so the explanation of the masculine is that the feminine can never kill again. So the type was falsified from water to ice. One more card for the masculine. So for the masculine, we have one card explained by three. So the Page of Pentacles, the Prince of Pentacles, explained by four cards. The Tower, the Chariot, the Two of Wands, and the Moon. Okay, the moon, that moon. That moon at the beginning, and I mentioned like pre-shuffled and everything. The story of the moon. I don't know. Just maybe look at stories of the moon. It keeps coming. The story of the moon. The story of the moon. So the Page of Pentacles in here. So the feminine is like the Queen of Cups in normal position, but falsified, it's the Queen of Swords. And your masculine side is in the Page of Pentacles stage. And in this Page of Pentacles stage, he's facing the Tower. So this very powerful changed. Um, Something very powerfully changed for you, but it was due to external influences. I'm looking at this card. I see like so there the two towers, Boaz and Ikim, or how Joachim. So in these ones they are not black and white, they're red and green. We had like the in the general reading yesterday, the masculine was represented by the green color, and you see how in this tower card, so the green was supposed, let's say it's not like this in all, but this reading with as a follow-up for yesterday, you see how in this one the masculine sits on the right, although he should be sitting on the left. It feels like this, but they feel planted correctly, but somehow they switched. So I feel like there's a switch down here. So it feels like the red tree was planted in here and the green planted in here, but so it feels like the green wanted to go on this side. As I said, this feels like the rebellion of Adam as a payback for Lilith leaving him in the Garden of Eden. So from this position of the Page of Pentacles, you're going through this, the Chariot, the Two of Wands, and the Moon. And actually, I like the fact that we have this Two of Wands upon this Two of Swords now. Because this Two of Swords can be used to power up this Two of Wands. Because air, fire, fuels fire. And with this Chariot card, you already have the momentum. You already started moving. And you're full speed ahead. But then the Moon. You have to reach, it feels like you're taking a trip, so you're going back to the place where it all started. And for this particular trip to the moon, you need like all the power you can get. You have the major arcana, so you have the vehicle. But your vehicle, so you're only in the second, like with hand sticks in the car, you have like speed. So you're only in your second speed. You still have like to how you have seven like the chariot maybe. Usually I know like 6 7, let's say like 6 7 gears. I think it's called. You can change to like your, so you're only in your second gear, and you can change up to your seventh or sixth gear, something like that. And you're going to the moon. There's an animation movie where a girl, she's like building herself a vehicle to go to the moon. It feels like you're taking a trip to the moon. And the moon is all about water, cancer, and emotions. So it feels like this Page of Pentacles needs to go to the moon to help this Queen of Swords. Because the Queen of Swords, it's stuck, it's exactly like in that movie. If you go too deep into your the movie, it's something about moon festivities. I don't remember the name. Um, and in that movie, like if you go, there's like this room on the moon. Even the goddess is trapped in there. If you go like too deep into your emotions, you can just lose yourself in there. It's like the void. And then the little girl that built the vehicle actually reaches the moon, and she goes into that room to bring the goddess of the moon out of that room. But she gets trapped in there too. And her stepbrother sneaks in on her vehicle and goes with her on the moon. And it is the little stepbrother that actually manages to bring back the girl and the goddess out of that deep state. So even like a little fire, because let's say that little stepbrother is this little prince of, because it's not a king of pentacles, not even the king of pentacles. So let's say this page of earth brings a little fire into this void, into this darkness. And he's taking, so the masculine is taking this trip to the moon to retrieve the Queen of Swords and to bring her back to her watery, moonly moon element. Okay, that's tarot. Oh God, that was like, it's a lot of messages in here, but it's very essential, like this trip to your emotionality, to your right side. But for you, actually, it's to your left side, because for you, the moon sits on the left. But the moon, so it's like everything is so entangled. This happened, and then the masculine did this, but he only did it because of that. Oh God. Let's have some oracles. Okay, so I'm gonna do this deck, Beyond Lemuria, it's called. And I feel this deck to be very appropriate for this reading. I brought it out yesterday and I was like, I didn't feel it yesterday like it's gonna be used, and it wasn't. Not even like shuffled, or I didn't even look at it. I did look at it, but just briefly. I didn't take cards out of. But now this one feels like, for you, this trip to the moon feels like Beyond Lemuria. And let's say Lemuria represents the maternal, or the ancestral matriarchal times. And because of what happened in Lemuria, this happened in Atlantis. And this is where you are now. 4-4, holding back to this resting. So it feels like you're procrastinating, and the masculine is not embarking on this trip. But now it's here. So now it's happening for sure. Because this tower, if it feels like, so if you're not going to do it on your own, well, you better do it. But if you're not going to do it on your own, it's knocking at your door. So it's going to come from the outside if you're not going to do it from the inside. Okay. One last shuffle. And let's see, what is it that beyond Lemuria, so beyond matriarchal, going back with the two I said, going back and beyond duality, going back to unity. So beyond Lemuria, so the original split is Lemuria, and the second split is Atlantis. So this is the original creation, or the creation of what we call God. And this is like the artificial creation, the human made. Okay, let's see, beyond Lemuria. What advices you can get from beyond duality? From your state of unity, what is the solution to for the masculine to embark on this, to embark willingly on this trip to the moon, to go back to the place where it all started? So it feels like the masculine has to go back to before the beginning. So this is the beginning with Lemuria, and before the beginning. Okay. So these are for the oopsie. These are for the feminine, these two. So for the feminine, trust your innocence, and third eye chakra, pineal perspective. So this feminine, although frozen, it's frozen in innocence. and it can still use the third eye. It feels like this feminine is frozen, and it can only use this third eye. So trust the innocence of the feminine, because her power comes from the third eye chakra. And for the masculine, surrender. So the masculine needs to surrender to this voyage to the moon that needs to be done, but also to the wisdom and to the pineal perspective, so a new perspective. Okay? So if you are a man, you need to connect to your feminine intuition, open your third eye. If you are a lady, you may very well be in your masculine nature. So you need to honor like the body that you were born into and connect to your feminine intuition. So the masculine, surrender to the violet flame. Water, the overflow. So these emotions, if they are not processed, so they are kept frozen. So you froze your emotions. Most probably because you didn't develop a healthy system to process all these emotions. So I think it was an inheritance of the paternal complex to freeze your emotions. And this is very, so let's say for the father in here, so the mother, so the grandmother, the mother of the father was not present in here. So as a natural self-defense mechanism, he developed this freezing of emotions. But if it's not your own fire that is going to melt down this ice, it's going to be the fire of someone else, someone from the outside. You see, like this lightning, even if it's like the fire of God, and it's going to melt, and this all this water is going to overflow you. Our ancient future, okay? So this is what I'm talking about. The ancient future. Going back before the beginning. So this trip to the moon, going back, so for you, going back to where it all started, for you, the message is going back before the beginning to your ancient future. Yeah. Maybe let's do just one more oracle card. Just one. This, it feels, with this one, it's like right there. But for this going before the beginning, let's see one card to help you on your quest and journey before the beginning. Okay. Earth connection at the base of the deck. Birth. So last night, it was 11 p.m., 12 p.m., somewhere in that time frame. And I was hearing this message, congrats, you're gonna have a baby. But it was like a message for someone. And I know that someone. And I cannot deliver this message right now, if ever. But it was like, congrats, you're gonna have a baby. So I guess congrats, you're gonna have a baby. But this birth, so it's the birth of your ancient future. This going to the moon. It's the birth of something new. Where's that Ace of Wands? Oh, there was an Ace of Wands in here, I think. And this Ace of Wands, this birth is absolutely insured. 100% victory upon it. And now I feel like taking another. So this is the Earth connection, the birth. I feel like taking another card. Okay, two other cards. So the tantric union of the goddess. So for this union of the masculine and the feminine, there's gonna be like a little bit of work to do. And it's not just a regular union. It needs to be tantric. So it needs that extra work and extra attention and extra warming up. So the goddess, okay. So the goddess in here needs that extra warming up because she's like really frozen. And don't forget that overflow. And with this tantric, just like slowly, okay, slowly melting that ice. Because I feel with the tower card in there, if the external fire melts this ice down, it's going to be an overflow. And that might prove problematic, and we're going to see that in the following readings. But for the time being, so this feminine needs extra time, extra care, extra attention. Everything needs to so the prelude in here I think is very important. So a lot of warming up of the goddess before this birth can actually happen. Okay, this is it what the cards have to say for this general reading. I hope you find some wisdom and um some answers in it. If not, I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.